Other countries send their children to school year round. We can't compete. And now we have a nation of people who can't compete, and they're mad and they're incels and they don't know how to talk to each other, and they're angry and bitter, and they're looking to blame everybody. And some of it is not their fault. It's the way society is set up.
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will survive.
And let me go back to the phones and welcome in a new first-time caller, Regina, Portland, Oregon. Welcome. Hi.
Welcome. Hello, Ms. Karen.
Hi, Regina.
It is amazing to be able to speak with you. It's amazing to be able to speak with you for the first time.
Thank you. What inspired this today, and how long have you been listening?
I literally have been listening to you since 2019.
Whoa.
Just too shy, but just too shy. And my husband and I listen to you. We listen to you in the car. We have the app. I got my daughter listening to you. She's 30 years old. We love your shows from 5 a.m. until closing at night. So
let me tell you, thank you. So what's on your mind?
Yes. I actually, just real quick, I actually reached out to you during the pandemic. I'm a fitness instructor, and I live in Portland, Oregon. Of course, I said that, but we don't have too many people that look like us that are instructors, and so I was doing Zoom classes and I invited you, but that was right around the time. I think you might have been having surgery, so it didn't work out. But nonetheless, I wanted to still reach out to my girl and say hello, and I'm available if you need me. So
thank you.
But what inspired me today is I was calling because Portland, Oregon is in general, but specifically Portland, Oregon, where we have most of our brown kids going. And I mean, when I say brown, I mean African American. I don't like to say black because I know that's a monolith, or that's it's a monolith. We need better funding for our schools. Our schools are suffering, not just in the classroom, school buses. We just need to get better funding. We voted years ago to have the lottery give us a lot of funding for the schools. Our schools are suffering in the inner city. We don't have the funding that we need for the classrooms. Yesterday was a very hot day for Oregon. It was 96, and so we had to shut the school down 3 hours early due to that because we don't have air conditioners in the school. Mm-hmm. And however, although we live in Oregon, and I know it's not a very hot state, but we have gotten those stretches, and with global warming, it's changed the pattern of the weather. So we just need better funding for the school. That's my main purpose. I'm a grandmother. I volunteered. I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to ask a question because, when people say we need funding, and you've been specific, buses, air conditioning, you need things. I'm thinking right now we have an opportunity to reimagine education. I don't think our children are prepared for the world as it is, and they're not prepared to reimagine the world as it should be. I don't think we are imbuing our children with the imagination that is required to innovate, to just be bigger. So I think we have a chance. We put kids on a bus, we send them to a classroom, they're sitting in rows. Most of the time is wasted, I believe, doing things. They're not even taking shop and home economics as I did. Like my school day was rounded. I had band where, the clarinet that had to go home, learn how to read sheet music, be a part of the band. We had little concerts. I'm talking about 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. Children are doing that. Not even to mention, all of the different sports that we had to be introduced to in school. It was full, and it wasn't all of this money involved, right? I feel like our children are not being served, and COVID didn't help. We have a generation of children that don't even know how to communicate with one another because they were not in community during COVID. And now we're just, in many ways, parking our children in school because we got to work. But what if everybody's losing their job now and they're trying to reimagine the workplace and keep us out of it? What if we reimagine what education looked like, Regina?
I agree with that. I agree with that. My grandson goes to a charter school that was created 12 years ago by some African American women, and he's in season school year round, which I wholeheartedly love that idea because that 3 months off for the summer, it tends to wreak havoc.
Yeah, it's a killer.
Yes, it is a killer.
Yeah, it kills their brain for sure. So, but you, you're not
I
called.
love listening to you. I love listening to you and Lorraine talk about these schools that they have in New York. I mean, I would love to see how we could get something sort of like that in Portland, Oregon. Across Oregon, not just in Portland, but across the state. So that's why I'm calling.
Well, we are actually, and Loree is participating, her husband as well, Brian Favors. We are working on some things in Nubia, in narrative that can be global, because I do think we need a global education system where we can educate our children and connect them to children all over the globe. We're not going to let these man-made lines separate us anymore, because we have an opportunity to break that completely up right now. Since you want to ban countries and all, you can't ban us from one another. At some point, this is the time. And if we don't do it now, it won't happen. I just really feel like this is one of our last windows. Maybe we have to wait another 100 years. None of us will be here. This is the time. This is our time. I feel like the Goonies right now. This is our time. It's our time to make it happen. I appreciate your call, because it's got me thinking, but it has me knowing that where we're heading, what we're planning, what we're doing, what we're working on is correct. Matter of fact, Khalees, she lives in Africa. She lives in, I think, Nairobi, Kenya. You may see her. I know a lot of fellas play her videos because, of her body shape, and her milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. So I think that happens. But I'm fascinated by her, bringing her children into a space. And she talks about homeschooling. She's been homeschooling her children. Matter of fact, Smiz, we have a clip.
But it's doable, and it's easier than the States to be from that perspective, for sure.
You still have to pay tax in America too?
For money I make in America, yeah.
Not for money you make here?
No.
So from an aspect of people that's looking to move to Africa, any country, there's a few things, right? Let's go through it. Schooling.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. You have 3 children that are young, right? 1 teenager and then 2 younger children. Talk about your experience with bringing children out here and interrupting their schooling, interrupting their social circle that they already had, enrolling them into a new social construct and school.
Okay, well, I may not be the best person for the conversation. I'm not big on the system to begin with, right? So
School system.
I am not. I just never felt like it served us. And so for me, it was always adverse for me. My kids have been on tour with me since they were born. So my system has been a little bit different. What I will say though, in Nairobi specifically, there are great schools. And I know this really just because my neighborhood, like where we live, my kids who I set free every day and they just go and run wild with all their little friends, they all go to schools in the neighborhood, and they're just bright and smart kids, and it feels like America in the sense where like no one's behind. They're actually way ahead.
Your kids are homeschooled.
My kids are homeschooled.
But that's a conversation too, because a lot of people in America want to start the homeschooling process. They're similar to that. But so that's interesting, because you talk, one of your children is getting homeschooled by artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
How's that working out?
Well, I was skeptical at first, but my older kid was in such a good program, and it didn't start at the age that my son is at, so I needed to find something that I thought was comparable. And it's amazing, honestly. What's great about it is that the AI system, it's a new system. It's called Fusion Academy, but basically it's a new system, and it adjusts to according to like what he's learning and what stage he's at. So it's never just like brushing past something and be like, okay, we got to get to the next stage. It's not rushing him into anything. So if he's excelling in writing or reading, he could be in 5th grade, even though should be at a 3rd or 4th grade level, right? So it's not holding him back. It's accredited, and then it makes it so that we can travel and I can move and they can see the world. And to me, it's been the most amazing education. My kids their passports are crazy, right? Like their passports will rival anybody. They've been all over the world. I can dip out to Thailand. I can go to, like South Africa. I can go to Egypt. Like we can do whatever we want, and it doesn't ever interrupt their schooling. To me, homeschooling is
It's 2 hours a day.
the best.
The AI.
2 hours a day.
The AI
Which really,
program.
if you look at real school, like the kids are in school doing nonsense for most of the day. It's like recess and playing, and it's like, what is happening here?
I was a teacher
Lunch break.
for 14 years.
Right. A lot of time is wasted, though.
A lot of
right?
time is wasted.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. Thank you, Khalees. And of course, not everybody can pick up and move to Nairobi, but everybody can look into this Fusion Academy. I actually looked into it. I was like, let's invite somebody on. Now, it may not be for everybody, but again, we've been doing something that was designed not for our success, but for our compliance. This modern school system that we are currently putting our children in every day was designed so that they could follow the rules. And we need rules, but we now have an anarchist. We have a president that could give a damn about rules at all. Maybe we should be thinking differently. Should we be raising children that follow this nonsense? Or should we be raising free thinkers? People that study, that read, that digest, that travel, travel through books. I went to Paris and England through A Tale of Two Cities in high school. Learned about that French Revolution through a novel that sent me down a rabbit hole to want to know more, to be inspired, as a young person. You can send your children everywhere through books. And this Fusion thing is online. I said, okay, Khalees found something that works for her family. And I think all of you who have children and grandchildren can start thinking about this differently. We have been conditioned to believe this is what you do. But it looks like we're herded cattle. We're sending our children into these boxes, into these square boxes, into lines, to stand in line for food, to line up in the hallway, to line up here, to sit in a row, not in a circle, with an authoritarian figure at the front who is going to teach your child what to remember and regurgitate, not to challenge. I was in the second grade when I first realized this system, because I challenged my teacher because she said something that was wrong. And I knew it was wrong because, I knew stuff. And I never forget the car ride, because my father had to come to school. My father had to come. Well, my father didn't have to. He made it his business to come to school, because in some cases, the father has to come to school. We talked about this too. When a parent's going to school, it's going to be Brian that's coming to school. My dad showed up, and I didn't think about it at the time. My mom very easily could have come. My father showed up, and on the ride home, we had a discussion. And I'm all of, what am I in the second grade? 8, 7? And I said, but Daddy, she was wrong. And he said, I know, but you can't embarrass adults. But yes, you're right. You were right. And the teacher was like, I'm disruptive in class and all of this. And he said, well, give her more work, give her more homework, because clearly she's bored. That's on you. And I'll never forget how empowered I felt having him advocate for me. But also I realized in that moment that teachers don't know everything. And I knew I was right. And my father validated that I was right. But, I got to navigate this system. So I can't just blurt out that she's wrong because she's in authority. And I understood in that moment, something's off here. If there's no engagement with even a teacher being wrong and being called out, it was about her embarrassment, not about the bad information she was giving the class. And I think this is important, that we raise children that will challenge when things are wrong, because guess what? We all make mistakes. Most adults are not right on everything. Some of y'all are raising some really, really, really brilliant, smart kids who get it beaten out of them in a school system that demands their complicity, that they toe the line. We can reimagine something different, and we must. And maybe it'll start with a Saturday school or a Sunday school or a freedom school in the summertime. But Regina's right. Those 3 months are killing our children's ability to be able to retain the stuff that they had to regurgitate all of those months they were in school. Other countries send their children to school year round. We can't compete. And now we have a nation of people who can't compete, and they're mad, and they're incels, and they don't know how to talk to each other, and they're angry and bitter, and they're looking to blame everybody. And some of it is not their fault. It's the way society is set up. And they look at other people and they're seeing them thrive and they're not. And so we got to tell the truth, and then we got to do something about it. We can fix this. So I am going to be spending some time on these airwaves. We're actually building out. We have a homeschool section in Nubia, which is going to grow and develop into something more, because not just having the community is enough. We actually have to then deploy. So that's why I'm looking into Fusion Academy and other things as resources, because I look at Nubia as a resource center, where people gather and collect and organize. But yeah, back in the day, it used to be the churches. We don't necessarily have strong churches to do that across the board in every city. We don't have the AME church as the way station or the Underground Railroad, but it can be. Shout out to the AME folk out there. Time to step up. Time to not close the doors of the church for tithes. Time to actually give, and set up and organize and be that beacon again. You think people don't want to come to church? They're not coming to church because they're not being fed. And there's enough of this Bible stuff. I can read that. And a lot of y'all's hermeneutics is trash. I'm going to just say that with my full chest. Time to serve the people. That's why you have that.
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will survive.